r/rules horror. Posted by u/impossible_leave_622. Fly, free, time and space. After 10 years in the Air Force, I was forced to retire because of a back injury. My pension was just barely covering my rent and my bills. If I wanted to get a house, I would have to get a job to start a savings account. After job hunting for about 2 weeks, I noticed a job listed for a tower control specialist. The airport was small and seemed cozy. I applied for the job without thinking twice about it. This is something I had previous experience with. I didn't read the job details, but I assumed it was like the military. After 30 minutes my phone rang. The caller ID was blocked. I decided to answer regardless. "Hello," I said. "Hello, is this Mrs. Cooper?" The voice on the phone sounded pleasant and cheerful. "Yes, this is Mrs. Cooper," I replied. "Mrs. Cooper, I would like for you to come for an interview at the airport fly free. Can you make the interview today in about 2 hours?" The man on the other side of the phone asked. "Yes, of course. It's 3 p.m., I can be there at 5 p.m., I replied immediately. I wanted this job. "Fantastic, when you get here ask for Andrew. I will be here to conduct the interview." The man sounded happy and cheerful. After Googling the airport and clicked the GPS for directions, I said, I was 35 minutes away. It only took me 30 minutes to get ready and head out. Once I got to the airport, a strange thought came to my mind. How come I have never heard of this airport? I lived here most of my life. I have never heard of this airport before. Once I scanned my surroundings, I found it weird that the mountains that surrounded us had a very clear space where planes would be able to pass to take off or land. I parked on the side of the building that connects to the control tower. Walking into the main door, I instantly recognized that this airport had state-of-the-art technology. Everything looks new. I walked up to the counter and the girl behind it looks skittish. Once I got up to the counter, I asked her, "Hey, I am here to talk to Andrew about a job interview." "Ah, phew, sorry you startled me. Yes, Andrew mentioned you. Mrs. Cooper, right?" the lady behind the counter said while trying to gather the stuff she scattered when I scared her. "Thank you, and sorry. May I ask why are you so jumpy?" I asked in a bit of concern. "When you work here, you'll understand," she said. With that, I went to the lobby and waited for Andrew to call me. After about 5 minutes of waiting, I saw a man in his mid-40s, average height and build. His hair was already turning white. Guess he has a stressful life. The man scans the lobby for a second and notices me. When we make eye contact, I make the assumption that this is Andrew. I stand up and walk to him. Before I can introduce myself, he says, "Mrs. Cooper, I assume. Welcome to Fly Free, here." He points to the hall behind the counter. "Let's go to my office and we can conduct the interview." "Nice to meet you, thank you," I replied as I was into the hall. I walked past 2 offices. One office said, Head of HR and Interdimensional Incidents. That was weird. The second office said Head of HR and Time Travel Incidents. When I was about to question the titles, I just read Andrew interrupted me. "This is my office. If you have any questions while you work here, I can assure you, I can help," he said, then gestured me into his office. "From what I just heard, you already think about hiring me, is that true?" I questioned him, while I sat down across from him. "Yes, the interview is just a formality and for me to get you acquainted with your job," he said with a smile. He then sat down on his chair and started to look into one of his desk drawers. "I read your resume, did a quick background check, and I got to say I know you can handle the basics here. I just need to know that you can handle the weird and dangerous. Here." He continues and handed over a piece of paper that felt old. This paper seems like it was older than me. I got the impression that it was from the 1700s. As I continued to scan, it read, "List of rules for the time control tower." I assumed it was my weird and dangerous part of the job. I then folded it and placed it in my pocket. "Hey, listen, those rules will keep you alive. Follow them to the letter. Don't take them lightly." Andrew's expression changed. He looked concerned and scared for my life. "We still have not discussed pay," I stated over his concerns. I was trying to let him know I understand and I am ready to move on to the next topic of conversation. "Ah, well, it is simple. You'll be paid salary. For 4 days of work a week, you will get paid $15,000, he exclaimed. "What? Why so much?" I questioned him. "Read the rules I gave you. You will start on Thursday and will work to Sunday. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are going to be your days off. Now if you don't mind, I need to handle other matters that has come up." Go to the receptionist and ask her for the manual so you can have the basic, and then I want you to have that list of rules memorized before your first day." With that, I walked out of the most interesting interview I have ever had and walked to the receptionist in the front and felt a little off. The lobby and the desk seemed to have been turned back a decade. The desk seemed a little older, and from the early 2000s the lady now had an older hairstyle that was the norm back in the early 2000s. I went up to her. "Hi, can I get the manual Andrew wants me to read?" I asked the receptionist. "Sure, what year are you from?" she asked me. "Year? Well, I was born in 1982, I replied with a confused state of mind. "No honey, I meant the year you will be working," she replied a little more stern. "Thursday will still be 2021, what else do you mean?" I was confused and had no idea what was going on. "Got it, let me get you the year's manual," she said, and got up, went to a filing cabinet that was all dark red. She opened it and grabbed a book out of it. Then walked over to me and handed over the book. "Here, and make sure you read the special rules before you leave, I don't want to have to talk to HR about you." "Okay, I will," I said, and walked to the lobby. The warning she gave me was nothing special, but for some reason I had to urge to read the rules. I grabbed the list of rules Andrew gave me and decided to read it before making another move. I unfolded the paper and started to read. List of rules for the time control tower. Rule 1. There is going to be a flight every hour of your shift. When you come in contact with the pilot, ask him what year is he coming from. If it's not your year, tell him runway is full, please circle back and wait for your time. Rule 1A. If he is from your year, direct the pilot to the runway, just make sure there is no other plane landing or taking off. Rule 2. When you are working in the tower, you'll be alone and no one else will be with you. Lock your door and don't let anyone in. This is of utmost importance. You don't want to meet the other control tower specialists that use this tower. Some of them are from other dimensions and other are just from other times. Rule 3. While you are overseeing the runway and you see it change, it means your shift is over and it is time for you to leave. You don't want to stay and meet the next tower control specialist. Again, you do not want to meet the other control tower specialist. Rule 4. On your way out of the terminal, make sure you are on your own time. If you are not, simply walk into the room labeled space and time. Once inside, you will see a small room with a table. On the table there will be red paper and white pencil. Simply write the date you worked and that you are from Earth Dimension 1. Then slide it into the mailbox on the wall. Give it 5 minutes and you may exit the room. You will see the lobby back to the date you are from. Rule 4A. If you are not back to your time, simply repeat the process and it will take you back to your time. Rule 5. When you come into work, make sure the receptionist is the same lady you spoke to on your way in, and always greet her on your way in. If you ignore her, you might not have a time to return to at the end of your shift. Rule 6. If you see any other creatures in here, they are more than likely workers. Avoid them at all cost and don't make eye contact, simply do your business and keep to yourself. Same applies for other humans with the exception of Andrew. No matter the time, he will always be there to help. What did I just read? Then I came to the realization that I needed to follow Rule 4 right now. The lobby was not the same as when I came in. I scanned the lobby and noticed a red door labeled space and time. I ran to that room and followed the instructions I was given. After 5 minutes I opened the door and saw that the lobby was back to normal. It was the same lobby I originally walked into. What kind of job is it?